Hello, and welcome back to the GCP-Mindset channel. Today we'll answer the question, what is the role of ethics committees in clinical research?
Ethics committees are a cornerstone of how we run clinical research. The real important thing that was neglected at the earlier stages of clinical trials, especially at the beginning of the 19th century, is the role of the patient and of informing them appropriately and of ensuring that at the end of the day, research is conducted ethically. So as a result of that, it was determined that all investigations involving humans should go through or must go through the review of an ethics committee. Now, ethics committees don't approve trials, but they opine on them, and their opinion shall be considered in the conduct of the study. And usually, factually, investigators will only start a study in case there is a favorable opinion from said ethics committee. So it is a committee which is composed of different personnel, which includes a statistician, which includes clinical members, but also laypersons. And they should overall look at the benefit-risk assessment of the study, if it is ethical to conduct the study, if this puts undue burden on the project, if the outcome justifies the mean and the risk to the patient, basically. And they also look at everything that's presented to the patient, which means all so-called patient-facing documents that includes, among others, the informed consent form, but also questionnaires that are given to them, or marketing material, because it needs to be ensured independently that no undue influence is exhibited on the patient themselves. And as part of this committee, which is made up of different people with different perspectives, is reviewing this independently and ensures that how we run clinical research, how we run clinical trials, is done in an ethical manner which puts the patient in the center of that. Another example of how ethics committees are involved in clinical research, we recently had a project which was running internationally. In one of the countries, though, there was a high rate of patients dying following an operation. Now, this was not unexpected for the trial in and of itself. It was a very complicated patient population, and patients dying was anticipated as part of the procedure. And the intervention was supposed to reduce the rate at which patients suffer these consequences as an outcome. Now, the rate at which it was observed in the trial, though, was a bit alarming to the ethics committee, and all of the cases in which these deaths were reported were also reported to the ethics committee. And so, as part of their function, this ethics committee then decided to hold the trial and first assess all of the information before they would allow for further continuation of patient enrollment in the study. This was to ensure that no undue risk, which was not before the trial anticipated, is placed upon the patients. And so they followed their rights and responsibilities as an ethics committee to say, we first want to make sure we have all the information to really determine if it's ethical to run this project. So they put a pause on the trial, they looked at all the information. There was no reason to believe this is based on the study treatments, based on all the information we shared. And afterwards, after the assessment, they gave us the go-ahead to continue with the project. This is also one of the functions that an ethics committee exhibits within the scope of a clinical trial.